Now, New South Wales is experiencing a once-in-100 flood, we're told today. 100. It really is a big wet. And the Met Bureau today put it in some context.
At Penrith, we're expecting river levels at Penrith to be levels near the 1961 flood. Just to give you some context around, that is bigger than the February 2020 flood. It is bigger than the 1988 flood. It is bigger than the 1990 flood, and it's bigger than the 1964 flood. It's one of the biggest floods that we're likely to see.
So this is record-breaking, and I'll speak with someone from the SES shortly, but that is in reference to the city of Penrith in Sydney's west. But I cannot allow all of this reportage to pass without highlighting how destructive and dangerous the Greenies have been about Sydney's largest water storage, Warragamba Dam. The dam provides water to 4.5 million people in Greater Sydney and surrounding areas. Now, in the 1980s, they raised the wall for good reason of Warragamba by 5 metres. Last year, the New South Wales government planned to raise the wall again by up to 17 metres. Now, think about that. We've already seen how underserviced Sydney is for water storage when Australia finds itself in a crippling drought in particular. We haven't built a major new dam in Australia for 30 years, yet the population has exploded. We need to take advantage of flood events to ensure that more is available in drier periods. It is so simple. Now, the plan to raise the walls and store an extra 995 gigalitres of floodwater would not only secure Sydney's water supply, we'd stop the desal plant, stop the bleeding of so much money, taxpayer money. It would mitigate the flood risk to the houses of the Hawkesbury-Nepean floodplain, suburbs like Richmond and Windsor, which lie in the path of any overflow from Warragamba. But the Greenies won that battle. And look what's unfolding tonight. The new Windsor Bridge is closed. It may even become damaged because the area is experiencing the worst flood in 5 decades. An overflow from the Warragamba Dam is making the situation worse. The Greens even dragged in the United Nations to oppose raising the wall. You see, they were whinging about 1,300 hectares of wilderness being lost. Greens MP Adam Bant, he even got cranky about this, and he joined Tim Flannery's argument. Remember Tim Flannery in 2007? Climate change will mean that our dams will never fill again. It's filled and spilled Warragamba Dam 3 times since Flannery said that. Even the Victorian Premier last year didn't understand. He was asked about building more dams. He said the most outrageous thing I've heard in this space, dams won't make it rain. Dams store water when it rains, you dumbo, so you have some when it's dry. Anyway, some of what is being destroyed downstream of the dam tonight could have been prevented if those walls were raised. The gross and irresponsible absolutism from deluded Green campaigners is often more dangerous to human life than what they campaign for. So congratulations to the Greenies. You're about to witness the product of your impractical activism. Well, there has been some incredible stories of survival as you followed over the weekend. Some outrageous sights to see as well during this 1-in-100-year flooding event across all parts of New South Wales. The sight of an entire house floating down the swollen Manning River in Taree yesterday looked absolutely surreal. How's that? Yesterday's damage from that mini tornado in Chester Hill in Sydney's west was a freak of nature too. Tonight, homes are beginning to go underwater in Western Sydney as the Nepean River continues to rise rapidly. The Premier's concern for the mid-north coast towns of Kempsey, Taree and Port Macquarie is now matched with her increasing concern for the emergency in Western Sydney. But first to the mid-north coast, the Mayor, David West, is on the line for us right now. David, what a scene of disaster in your region.
That really, your description of that doesn't quite generate enough in the imagination about how dangerous and how difficult this situation has been. To give you an idea where I'm coming from there, imagine that house you're talking about from that very same location, 120 animals washed into the river. Another farmer, livelihood completely destroyed because 60% of his dairy herd washed into the river, not recovered. Those animals are worth about $8,000 each. How do you recover from that? I mean, a house can be replaced, but your future livelihood, when you're in your 40s or 50s, that's a very, very difficult thing to overcome. But you mentioned the area of the flood. Our area covers 8,052 square kilometres of a catchment. The floodplain is 1,400 square kilometres. When we get rainfall, the type that we've had over the last few days, that area creates a tsunami of water leading through the tributaries, through the rivulets that feed the Manning River, and this massive amount of water makes its way to the ocean. And in doing so, on this occasion, it has created a 1% flood. That's a 1 in 100-year event.
And there you were 12 months ago, a little over 12 months ago, David. Some of these property owners, the same property owners under flood right now, they were trying to save their house from bushfire, for heaven's sake.
Look, my concern is the psychological well-being of the people involved in this. We've gone through a terrible drought. We've gone through the most horrendous bushfires, as you've mentioned, the pandemic, and now this. We've had amongst the highest levels of suicides amongst men in regional areas involved in regional activities. The psychological damage of this on top of that is immeasurable. And I've spoken to our federal member, David Gillespie, and our state members, and they are so supportive. And we're very lucky that we have those members of Parliament that realise we are a regional area. But can I also say, today I was at a centre where people that have been saved from their devastating situation, a mum, her mother, 4 children, and the father. And what did the grandmother say to me? It's okay, David, we'll rebuild again. Oh. I mean, this is the sort of stoic nature of the people that have built this country.
Yeah, and still the worst may not be over, David. As you know, you've got the Manning threatening to break its banks at Taree and the Macleay threatening to cause more damage to Kempsey. It may not necessarily be over. What's your message to those watching this?
Look, can I please appeal to everybody? Listen to the SES. Take advice from those that are putting their lives on the line to save you.
Yep.
We have evacuation centres in Taree, Wingham, Bulahdelah, Old Bar, Manning Point, Coopanook and Moreland. These people are there to assist you.
Fantastic. I've got to leave it there. I've got another person to get to, but David West, thank you very much for your time.
No, thank you. Thank you very much.